You know, think about the last time you saw a skyscraper going up or a massive bridge being built. We're talking projects worth millions, sometimes even billions of dollars, with thousands of people involved. But what if I told you that a huge chunk of its financial success or failure really comes down to one of the simplest pieces of paper on the entire site? So let's dive into the quiet, unassuming power of the construction sign-in sheet.
So when you're managing something on that massive scale, what do you think is the single most unpredictable, the most difficult cost to pin down? It's not the steel, it's not the concrete.
It's the people, yep. Human labor is by far the biggest financial variable and the biggest risk. You've got hundreds, maybe thousands of workers, and every single one has their own hours, their own pay rate, their own schedule. If you get that wrong, it doesn't just cost you a little bit of money. It can completely sink the entire budget. That's why having incredibly tight control isn't just a nice to have, it's absolutely non-negotiable.
And the solution to this huge, complex problem? Well, it isn't some fancy, high-tech algorithm, at least not originally. It's something much simpler, a methodical list. You could almost call it the unassuming hero of our story.
It's officially called the personnel register, but you and I would probably just call it the sign-in sheet. And its job is beautifully simple. It's the one official record that tracks who is on site and for exactly how long. In a way, it's kind of like the central nervous system for the whole site's administration.
And if you actually look at what's on it, the information is incredibly basic. You've got the date, the worker's name, their trade, are they an electrician, a plumber, what have you, and then you get to the most critical columns: time in, time out, and a signature. That's it. Just a few simple columns that hold the keys to the kingdom, financially speaking.
But don't let that simplicity fool you. From that super simple data, you get all these core functions. I mean, it's not just about taking attendance. This list is the direct source for getting payroll ready. It's what you use to keep an eye on working hours and overtime. And, this is a big one, it becomes a legally binding document. It is the proof.
The process itself is just as straightforward. You show up, you sign in. Your supervisor confirms you're actually there, you go do your job for the day, and when you're done, you sign out. It's this simple rhythm repeated every single day by every single person that builds the foundational record for the entire project's workforce.
But what happens when this simple system, which is kind of based on trust, gets exploited? Well, this is where a villain enters the picture: the ghost worker. We're talking about good old-fashioned time fraud. When someone signs in for their buddy who decided to sleep in, or when people fudge their timesheets to get a little extra overtime they didn't really work. It's a direct attack on the integrity of that simple list, and it has very, very real consequences. Okay, so let's just imagine a scenario for a second. Picture a site where on any given day, just 5 ghost workers get signed in. A friend scribbles their name, maybe the supervisor is really busy and doesn't double-check. It seems pretty small, right? What's 5 people? But just look at how fast this snowballs. After only 1 month, 30 days, that tiny problem of 5 ghosts a day has exploded. The project is now paid for 150 full shifts that never, ever happened. And the financial damage? Well, at an average wage, you're looking at over $30,000 gone in a single month. 30 grand paid out to ghosts, all because of a few fake signatures on a piece of paper. Suddenly, that simple little list feels a whole lot more serious.
So, with that kind of money on the line, how do projects fight back? How do you protect the integrity of that register and defend the bottom line? Well, it really all comes down to active enforcement.
The first line of defense is always going to be human. Supervisors have to physically see with their own eyes that the people who signed in are the people who are actually on the job. That register has to be monitored every single day, not just tossed in a file cabinet. And you can add other layers too, like access control systems that won't even let you on site without a proper badge. And this is where the site administrator really becomes the guardian of the whole process. This quote here, it absolutely nails it. This isn't just about filing paperwork. It's a core financial duty. They're the ones making sure everything lines up, spotting any weird patterns, and basically protecting the project's bank account.
Of course, these days, technology has an answer for a lot of this. While manual, pen and paper registers are simple and still super common, they need constant supervision. Digital systems, on the other hand, things that use biometrics like fingerprints or just swipe cards, they're incredibly accurate, they're automated, and they are so much harder to cheat. They pretty much eliminate the ghost worker problem overnight. But here's the thing. We've been talking about money and fraud this whole time, but the importance of this register goes way beyond just the finances. It serves another, arguably even more critical purpose. It's the project's ultimate safety net. Think about it. If there's an accident on site, that register is the definitive, official record of who was there. When labor inspectors show up unannounced, it's the very first thing they ask for to check if you're following the rules. For insurance claims, for legal disputes, it's primary evidence. It's so much more than a list. It is the official truth of what happened.
So at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if it's a clipboard with a pen tied to it or a high-tech biometric scanner. That simple act of signing in is so much more than just administrative busywork. It is the financial, legal, and safety backbone of the entire project.
And all of this leaves me with one final thought. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What other simple, everyday tools are out there, quietly holding massive systems together, wielding a power that we just completely overlook every single day?